Yeah, I'm just gonna I'm gonna pre-order it tonight. Are there any good pre-order deals floating around?
No,
I didn't see anything.
it's all like it is a 24 block game, 24,000 block game.
Wow, it's gonna suck up the entire. I've heard so many good things about the game too already, which is great. So, oh well. All right, I just tweeted out the link to the live show.
Okay, I'm gonna share that around here.
Let me do the same with on side questing proper. Oh, so JJ, what I was telling John was my finances, everything has kind of gone through finally. So I'm going to be purchasing all the hosting stuff for the podcast this week, tomorrow, and we're going to have all that set up, and we'll get rocking from an iTunes hosting and all that fun stuff. So
Rad.
Shall all start tomorrow. The goal is to get all that done before I go on vacation, so that way people that are subscribing will be able to kind of catch up and do all that stuff.
Cool.
Okay. Well, I say we begin, guys.
All right.
Sweetness. All right. I'll count us in. Hey, we already have a viewer. 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to SQW Survivor Series. I am Dolly, the latest Dimovsky. Joining me is JJ on time holder. And John, the middleman, Keo. Actually, it's the reverse now because John was the one that was most ready. Actually, no, JJ, you were the readiest, and then you had to do something like for a split second, and then I had to do something, and then John had to, so we were kind of playing tag. So none of my names worked out. But gentlemen, thank you. Yeah, all three of us just kind of screwed everything up. Thank you for joining me tonight, as usual. Thank you. As every episode starts off, I want to thank. We are officially up to 3 people giving us a thumbs down on YouTube every week. So that is fantastic. I love it. Keep those thumbs down working. Yes, that means we've turned heel. Is that what's happened? Yeah. We've actually gone heel.
Good.
Good.
It's the most fun. Nobody likes to play face. Everyone wants
exactly.
It's easy to be a heel.
Yeah. Very easy. Excellent. Well, we're going to spend a lot of time. We're going to spend the whole show this week talking about Survivor Series. I mentioned to the other fine gentlemen before we got rolling here that there was a ton of news that broke this week, but we're going to try to cover that next week, just so we can kind of focus on Survivor Series this week. So we're going to do our predictions, and I actually have a tiebreaker since we ran into the ish last time. I'm thinking the tiebreaker this time is since we have 3 of the kind of the big team matches coming up. What if? All right, hear me out. What if we choose the last person standing, the winner of the person who pins in that match? That'd be hard.
That could work. We just have to hope that. So we don't. If somebody can't pick the same person as someone else,
yeah, I mean, and we'll use that strictly.
Is it the person closest to be in the last? Is that
right? And we'll use that strictly as a tiebreaker, I think. Otherwise, we'll just kind of go ahead and pick our. Well, I mean, you guys had other ideas for tiebreakers.
Well, I mean, the Survivor Series format does lend itself to the possibility of a lot of bonus points.
Yes,
you can pick which team wins, but then you have to pick who are the sole survivors.
Exactly. Who are the survivors? That's a good point. Yeah. All right.
So there's a chance for points here, and for any of our new viewers, we have unofficial SQW Predictor Championship,
yes.
Which is now being co-held by Dally and JJ after the last event.
Like when Eddie and China were Intercontinental Champion together, or was it Jericho and China?
Jericho in China, yeah.
Jericho in China, yeah. You're China, Dolly.
I'm China. I do look like.
By the
way. All right. So last week was great. I gotta say, last week was wonderful because that history of Survivor Series was really fun to go over all that stuff. So I personally really enjoyed it. Thank you, JJ, for preparing that big list of stuff.
It'll return for Royal Rumble.
Yes, it'll return for Royal Rumble. That'll be fantastic. It'll be great. We can do that for all these big events. I'm I'm excited for that. So before you know it, Royal Rumble will be here.
I know, it's crazy how fast that's coming around.
All right, so if we begin with our predictions. All right, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 matches. Survivor Series, the ones I'm seeing here, right? So matches are we have the Cruiserweight Champion match. We have the Intercontinental Championship. We have Team Raw versus SmackDown, the tag team version. Team Raw versus SmackDown, the women's elimination match, and Team Raw versus SmackDown, the men's elimination match. And then we have Lesnar versus Brock versus Goldberg. So, 6 big matches. We know those kind of traditional elimination matches tend to last a little bit longer because you have to eliminate everybody from a side. So
they better last longer. The show is 4 hours long this year.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. So these are going to be pretty good.
Yeah. That tag team one's 10 on 10, so that should.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one should. Although, is that tag teams are eliminated, or is it individuals that are eliminated?
It would have to be individuals because it's. I mean, it is because it's one big unit as a team.
That's essentially a Royal Rumble. You're going to have 20 people in the ring at the same time. Okay, well, let's start. The first match is the Cruiserweight Championship, right? So you have WWE Cruiserweight Champion, it's Brian Kendrick, and he's taking on Kalisto. And there's some good stipulations to this match. And this ties into some of the things that we had been reading and hearing the news that broke over the last couple weeks. That if Kalisto wins, SmackDown Live gets the entire Cruiserweight division. The entire division goes to SmackDown. And the Cruiserweight Championship. So I think I'm going to start off by saying I think this match is kind of planned and primed for whatever. You kind of. You kind of. I
think we're all in agreement on this one.
Well, give me your picks.
Based on what we know with the new Cruiserweight show, it's probably got to be Kalisto.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, bring that division to SmackDown. If they're going to be recording that show after SmackDown, it would only make sense for that to be a SmackDown brand now.
Well, exactly. When we were talking about it before, they were going to be having the Cruiserweights were going to have to work a pay-per-view, then work Raw, then work 205, and then and every 4 weeks do an NXT taping as well. It seemed a little daunting, so it makes sense to move them there. It's too bad for Brian Kendrick that he just won the title.
Yes, right.
Like
But I
said, it was probably going to be a intermediate champion anyways. Like
probably, yeah. It's too bad for him. But I mean, I don't think Kendrick is, which was the reason why I didn't pick him last time. Was that I don't think he was really burning up the ratings charts. Unfortunately for him, but Kalisto, he seems ready to go. He seems pretty primed. He took out Baron Corbin and everything. So
he should have been in that division to begin with. Like
and I just like seeing guys with cool masks win stuff because long hair and goatee. Sorry, John. Long hair and goatee. your luscious locks. That look is everybody, and I think I'm a fan of some of this. The fun. The Cruiserweight tends to have more guys that are into some cool masks and stuff. So I'll go with those. But yes, for everything we're saying,
a lot of facial hair in general in wrestling these days.
It's gone back to like the late 70s, early 80s, right? There was a time where everybody got real hairy and then it got real clean and
everyone's trying to not be the Vince McMahon archetype of
right, exactly. So we're all in agreement. I think Kalisto as well. So it kind of sucks that they're leading off with a match like this because it's like we know it's gonna happen. Although there could be this crazy stupid thing that they're throwing at the last second, like in the women's championship over in the last pay-per-view that just throws everything off. So it is WWE. You can never tell.
You never know.
Yeah,
you never know.
Logic tells you it will be Kalisto, but but wrestling doesn't necessarily always follow
logic.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, let's move on to the next match. We have the Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, is taking on Zayn, Sami Zayn.
Also interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So The Miz just won back the Intercontinental from Ziggler, right?
Literally just won it back like
literally
on Tuesday.
Yes. And so all of a sudden he's got to put it up against Zayn in the Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one is very interesting to me because it would be an ultra quick turnaround for someone to gain the belt and lose it. Not that it hasn't happened the next day on in WWE, in wrestling in the past, but the Miz's arc, as we've talked, has been pretty interesting lately, and I'm curious. I don't know enough about Zayn that makes me kind of pull towards him, but then at the same time, the Miz losing it could also be yet another fantastic, gut punch to him for this lack of respect that he feels that WWE gives him.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Miz on this one.
Okay.
For various reasons, like he did just win the championship, and I just unless they also had a U.S. title match that was like cross promotional or something, I can't just see them just dumping the Intercontinental title to Raw right now. Maybe in the future, sure, but like that's sort of what makes me lean towards the Miz and why I'll probably be wrong.
Yeah, my biggest problem is thinking about the booking in my mind and how and the balancing act of all this stuff. So I mean, let's assume the Cruiserweight Championship is a foregone conclusion to go to SmackDown. So that would tell me that, to balance it out, then the IC title has to go to Raw. But you're not. Are you really going to have two mid-card titles on Raw?
Yeah.
With the U.S. title, as you said.
Yeah.
So my theory, if you'll bear with me, is all this stuff going on with The Miz and Daniel Bryan. If you've been watching the A Show, Talking Smack, there's been a lot of talk about trades back and forth to Raw and SmackDown. So I think that Sami Zayn may very well win the championship from The Miz.
I see where
just to find out that Daniel Bryan puts the screws to The Miz and trades them both, brings the IC title back to SmackDown with Zayn, and lets The Miz go to Raw, and that's how I would book it.
Is that your pick?
I'm picking Sami Zayn to win, but then he's traded immediately to back to SmackDown.
Boy.
I too am going to pick Zayn for a lot of what you just said there. Now I wasn't too keen. I wasn't too up on the trade talk, but the whole idea of balancing the title and moving some things around, I think that is it's very smart.
I agree with you on your booking, and I agree that that's actually probably a very likely scenario. I'm not going to change my choice because I'm already committed.
You're committed. You're locked in.
You're committed to it. Excellent.
It's your lock of the week.
Lock of the week. Good. Well, now all of a sudden you've made this match way more interesting than I thought it was going to be going into it. So
I find this match super interesting, and it's because of Talking Smack and the stuff that's going on with Miz and Daniel Bryan. Because I think Daniel Bryan's got one more match in him at Mania against The Miz in a retirement match. That's what I think.
Yeah,
even after kind of his emotional breakdown about a week or two ago. I think they showed the behind the scenes stuff where he was talking to his wife fiance.
The Total Divas bit.
Total
Bellas, whatever. Well, honestly, I haven't watched that, so I'm not sure. But I've heard that he had a pretty big breakdown when he was told he couldn't wrestle. But I don't know. It's wrestling, right? There's just too much evidence to not be leading toward some kind of payoff.
To not at least be setting the groundwork for the potential for it. Like it
has to be more than it has to be more than Dolph being his, the guy who represents him in this feud. Like it has to be more than that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Please.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the first of the traditional matches. And it's so traditional, it's a 10-on-10 match. We have a Team Raw versus Team SmackDown 10-on-10 Survivor Series traditional tag team elimination match. So here's who's on the sides. You have the New Day, Gallows and Anderson, Sheamus, Cesaro, Enzo and Cass, and the Shining Stars. They face, the Hype Brothers, American Alpha, Slater, Rhino, the Usos, and Breezango.
Mm-hmm.
The 10-on-10. This is a
10-on-10.
This is an impossible match for me.
Yeah, I have no idea. There's no rhyme or reason. Like, there's nothing on the line for this one. Like, it's just kind of.
Yeah, it's like, a bit of it's the bragging rights.
Yep.
This is one of those things where that could be booked that day for all we know. Like,
yeah,
it probably will be.
I think the other matches have more possibilities for betrayals or someone turning on someone else and causing a loss. This one I think is going to be the most straight up elimination in fairly rapid succession.
I agree too.
Until they get down to the last couple of teams.
Yeah, both teams have the equal amount of faces and heels to consist of the team.
Yeah, everyone's going to get their stuff in, and the fat will be trimmed until you get down to, say, New Day and Sheamus and Cesaro against Usos and
maybe Rhino and Slater
or Alpha or whatever.
Or right? Alpha, sure.
Yeah.
Like, that's sort of like, I don't know. I'm just gonna say Team SmackDown. I'm just gonna go.
You're gonna say SmackDown? Okay, JJ says SmackDown.
I really, really like American Alpha, but I really, really, really hate the Usos. So I don't want to pick the Usos. They'll be first eliminated.
Yeah, I find myself playing the balancing act game again here, and I think SmackDown wins this one, the tag teams. I think they have the stronger tag team division as well.
Yeah.
Despite there's probably more stars in the other one, but the division is better on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say SmackDown. Final survivors are Alpha and Slater and Rhino. 2 teams.
Okay, Alpha, Slater, and Rhino. Okay, I'm going to pick Raw as my winners. I got to make
counterpoint.
Yes, I have to do this counterpoint now because we're going to start getting into this.
Give some points.
Yes, so I'm going to pick as my survivors, I guess, of this tag team, this elimination match. So I have Raw, and my survivors are going to be Gallows and Anderson. I actually think it's just going to be Gallows and Anderson.
Ooh, that's a hot take right there, Dally.
Yes, after the last time we spoke about some of the tag team stuff, the Gallows and Anderson has been.
It would definitely pump them
a lot more, and I've been kind of keeping up with a little bit of what they've been doing. So I kind of like that take. And JJ, your choice. So obviously, you chose SmackDown. Who do you think is going to be the last team or team standing?
I'm just gonna say American Alpha will just be the last sort of team on that. Just them.
Okay, all right. Now, John, you had Alpha and Slater and Rhino. Now, if Alpha still is the only team left, then you still get that point. Just give me the heads up. In a situation of a tiebreaker. In a situation of tiebreaker. Okay, the next one. This is going to be pretty interesting. It's the women's 5-on-5 elimination match. So, Team Raw, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Nia Jax, Alicia Fox versus Team SmackDown, which is Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, Alexa Bliss, Naomi, and Carmella. We just had the big main event last month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is slowly making its way up the card in a lot of these potentially. So who are your picks? Now, Charlotte is still the champion.
She is, yep.
Yeah, Charlotte's still the champion. And now that's why I will say Raw will win this with Charlotte and Sasha Banks being the last 2 remaining because there is a feud going to be brewing there.
I'm on the same side with you on Team Raw, but I think maybe Charlotte and Bayley.
Okay.
because they've also been really working that angle.
That's true. That's true.
It's been really, it's like making Bailey the weak link.
Yeah. Yeah. So. John?
It's a tough one. I could go into several reasons why I think Raw or SmackDown could get this. I think even it's the same sort of story where the Raw division has the bigger stars and a little more glamour, or not glamour, but glitz. I don't know. But the SmackDown division is probably overall is a much healthier division. In terms of like storylines for everybody and stuff. But based on the main event match, and again the balancing act here, I'm gonna say God, it's tough.
It's interesting when you think of SmackDown and the quality, right? So SmackDown, if they get the cruiserweight, if the tag team division's better, the Intercontinental title is going to probably stay there if we go John's route. So there are a lot of interesting things happening in SmackDown.
Well, I'm gonna say SmackDown wins this one, because of what I think happens in the main event picture one. So I'm gonna say SmackDown wins. You're gonna see Becky win. Becky as a survivor. And I'm going to say Becky and Nikki.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a solid pick. I think those two are good picks.
Yeah.
All right. Last couple big matches here. We have the big one. This is the one that I'm really looking forward to, not the old timers match. This is the one that to me is just the most classic Survivor Series. My whole day Sunday is circling around this match. The classic 5-on-5 elimination match. Team Raw, you have Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Chris Jericho, Seth Rollins, Strowman versus SmackDown, which is AJ Styles, Ambrose, Wyatt, Randy Orton, and Shane McMahon. So they have a couple of champions in there. They have Strowman, which is ginormous. There's a lot of stuff that's happening in this match, and these are huge stars on both ends. I mean, these are the biggest stars really that are going right now in a lot of ways in the WWE. So they're pulling out every big gun possible, and obviously you don't see folks like Cena or whoever there because there's a lot of injuries floating around as well. So which we'll talk about when we get into this big next match, but. I think this is going to be a fantastic match. I mean, you saw some great stuff happen on Raw and SmackDown this week. The Taker came out on SmackDown. That was cool to see. They showed that on his walk back, he bumped into Kane, and the brothers are together again. So that was kind of cool. But some pretty cool things, I think, are circling around this match. And I have my pick, but I'm gonna wait to hear what you guys say. Let's start with JJ. I'm curious. Where do you think this match is going to go?
I gotta say Raw is going to win it.
Okay.
In my mind, I have my sort of fantasy booking scenario for this. And because based on things that I've heard rumors of and stuff, so I can see AJ Styles costing the team the match, leading to a match with The Undertaker. Because there was a rumor about The Undertaker wrestling AJ Styles at Royal Rumble this year.
Yeah.
And his little promo The Undertaker gave on Tuesday sort of implied that he was willing to fight whoever lost that match.
And Styles stepped right up and kind of injected himself in his face.
So I think that's going to end up being sort of where that's going to. If you take everything at face value and rumors that you've heard, I don't know who's the last one standing on Team Raw. I feel like they've been really pushing Braun Strowman a weird amount. So they have. I can sort of see him being last man, sort of standing on the Raw side of things, just out of just sort of shock factor. I think I'm just gonna go with that.
Okay.
Go for a Hail Mary.
A Hail Mary. I mean, that would be the favorite. He is, he's a lot of He's a lot of wrestler.
Yeah.
Like everyone else in that match is sort of they're built. Like
yes, yeah.
Like we pretty much know where Chris Jericho's storyline is leading at this point. Like he's going to have a thing with Seth Rollins, and then inevitably that's going to turn into a thing with Kevin Owens. Like that's just we know where Chris Jericho's storyline's going to. We know you know Kevin Owens is always going to be in that title picture, and Roman Reigns is working his way up the ladder of the division again. So we know.
By the way, did you see him crush a troll on Twitter the other day? I think it was yesterday. Did you hear about that?
That Reigns did?
Reigns did, yeah. Not really crush a troll, but somebody had mentioned that he was holding the belt wrong on Raw. Somebody tweeted at him, and so he replied back with, "No, it's not how you hold it; it's how you defend it." I thought, oh, that was pretty solid. That's a good.
And they're already pushing him back into the title picture right now. Anyway,
All right, John. What about you?
So I'm floating around some of the details that JJ just went into. I didn't hear the rumor about AJ versus The Undertaker, but
I heard that one too, yeah.
Just based on the promo he gave, it sounds like this could be the jumpstart to some storyline, a catalyst to some storylines with Taker. Because he seemed to imply that he was back. I don't know about full time, but he will be wrestling on more occasions than just WrestleMania, which is pretty cool. But I mean, if SmackDown wins, then that goes away, and then we don't, and now that little bit of conflict that it needs on that show goes away. So I think that puts me toward Raw. But then again, I also think that on the Raw side, I think Braun Strowman's going to do well. I think he's going to get eliminated. He'll do well. He'll eliminate a couple of dudes, maybe even Bray Wyatt himself. But I think Owens. This is the start of the Owens Jericho breakup. The start. So I think Jericho ends up being a sole survivor with Kevin Owens being the final Raw elimination. Yeah. So Kevin gets a little jealous of Jericho.
Yeah, that's where I was leading.
Chumming it up with Seth or maybe even Roman Reigns. So I'm going to say Jericho. I'm going to say Jericho and Roman Reigns are the final survivors. I'm going a lot of pairs. But Jericho and Roman Reigns and Owens gets a little jelly.
A little jelly. Well,
I was leaning that way myself too. That just makes a whole lot of thematic sense.
Yes.
I think what's going to happen with this match, and this is going to be where timing comes into play, right? I think this is depending on how the two prior elimination matches go, how long they take, they definitely want to save time for the main event. And so the only reason I bring that up is that changes if I think one or two people will be left standing from one side, and who gets eliminated, how quickly they get eliminated. Is it, are they eliminated Royal Rumble style where somebody just flips them over the ring and they get kind of, or whatever. So I think I'm going to go against you guys. I'm going to say SmackDown.
Oh, the Hail Mary.
Yes. And my Hail Mary is... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if it weren't for teasing that Stephanie McMahon was just going to fire everyone if they lost.
Yes, the full-fledged threat of Stephanie McMahon.
Sure, yeah. No, I think that promo this week was great. It was Taker, and I know there's a Taker Styles rumor, which there's probably some validity to that. But the Undertaker sells it, and I could see the Undertaker coming out during this match at some point and somehow pissing off AJ Styles to where Styles has this all wrapped up, and somehow the Undertaker comes out and starts beef with him because of what happened over this week. And then that can be the lead into WrestleMania. But it seems like the heaviest of the heavy hitters are in Raw, so to speak. I mean, At the same time, I mean, they threw Shane McMahon in, right? Which is so bizarre, and I think he's going to be one of the. I don't think he'll be the first eliminated. He could be one of the. I actually think Orton will be the first eliminated. The AJ Styles angle to me is so interesting. I'm gonna pick Ambrose and AJ Styles to be the last people standing in this.
Okay.
Ambrose he had that loss, to Styles, but I think I lean towards this being the final, and I think there's so much that could happen with SmackDown because of this.
Yeah. The only thing that may have swayed me toward the SmackDown side was that I feel like the SmackDown team as a whole are kind of the baby faces in this.
Yes, they are. Yep.
Yeah.
Even though there's a mix of baby faces and heels on both teams, they feel like they're the underdogs in this.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, because they kind of SmackDown's always been portrayed as the underdog to Raw.
Yeah.
So.
And they were even cheered on Raw when they came out. It's
funny. That was
it was kind of funny. I mean, and that's because Stephanie, partially I'm sure because Stephanie is a heel and Shane is the biggest, one of the biggest baby faces on SmackDown.
When they cheered for SmackDown and Stephanie turned to the crowd and says, "You're at Raw."
yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I think I'm still going to stick with Raw, but I think SmackDown will put on a very good showing.
Yeah.
And maybe even
SmackDown will look very good
coming.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's gonna be a great match. I think it's gonna be a fantastic match.
Considering the main event proper is a Raw match, you kind of want to lean towards SmackDown on it too.
Yeah, true.
This is my first SmackDown pick. When you think about it, I've had Raw for the prior two picks, and I have Zayn winning as well. So this is the first time I've actually chosen SmackDown for anything. So I could be way off though. Yeah, I am actually. Right now, I'm tracking the opposite of what John has. So John had two SmackDown.
Yes, I know. I was just thinking that.
Yeah. So and JJ's right in the middle. So all right, the final match, the big one, the mega match, fantasy warfare, blah, everything you can think of. You have Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg.
Fantasy warfare turns real.
Fantasy warfare turns real. Two guys who like to scream in their pictures.
Show their teeth.
Show their teeth. So apparently Goldberg got injured on Raw this week. I think that was what the news that I heard, like a shoulder injury or something.
Yeah, like he pulled a muscle or something.
Pulled a muscle.
Probably nothing, but like
ain't nothing wrong. I could walk it off. Who's next to give me a massage? But this is the match. This is the WWE 2K17 cover match. Right?
It's going ahead. Don't worry.
Exactly. What? I don't know.
I mean, does Goldberg come back to lose, like that kind of thing?
Right, exactly.
Sting.
But at the same time, it's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Which makes me sort of lean towards like the real answer is probably nobody wins.
We've all lost.
But can they do two no finishes for a Lesnar match in a row? That kind of situation.
Well, Brock Brock won that match, right?
That's it. Brock won, yeah.
But, geez, I have no idea. I'm just gonna go with Brock because that makes the most sense.
Okay.
I mean,
all right.
It'll probably end up being Goldberg because, again, do you come back out of retirement to lose?
And that's exactly why I want to pick Goldberg, is to say you don't come back for one match out of retirement just to lose. And they made a whole big deal about how he's wrestling because of his son and so on. But at the same time, Brock Lesnar is such an asshole. He kind of doesn't care. He kind of doesn't care.
It builds his character a lot if he just kind of ends up destroying. Like maybe not have it be like it's not going to be John Cena, Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam.
Right. No. It's one of the few unanswered losses that Brock has.
Yeah.
With the match at Mania 20 that year, and
it's a bad match with no there's no thematics to go with it. Like, what does Brock get out of this? There's nothing. What does Goldberg get out of it? Nothing. What storylines does this lead into? Nothing. Unless Goldberg stays around. Like if something happens in this match that builds up another match, or
Is it the main event? Is it the final match on the card?
Do we think that?
Yeah.
Why do you think something else will happen?
No. I mean, whether that match or the team the main event battle is the
this is billed as the main event. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll give you my pick. Have you given your pick yet, JJ?
I said Lesnar.
You both said Lesnar, right?
No, I said I wanted. I'm having a hard time picking this one. I want to say Goldberg, but Lesnar could just be a jerk, and
yeah,
I'm gonna say Goldberg. I'll say Goldberg.
Okay.
I don't think everything has an equal chance of like it's a coin flip on this match.
It is.
I think the swerve is that Goldberg wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. It's the babyface win at the end. In this thing, if Raw is the heel team that wins, I think Goldberg is the babyface that gives a good warm fuzzy feeling at the end. Because I think SummerSlam ended off with a little bit of a confusing note. You know what I mean?
Like I was saying, like my heart tells me that nobody wins the match, kind of thing, just because that's sort of been built for Lesnar.
Yeah.
Like,
but if I may, I'll describe how I think Brock will lose. Hashtag Brock. Yeah. Hashtag Brock lost.
Hashtag Brock lost.
I think what you'll see in the previous match, the big main eventer match, is that Shane will come off strong and be eliminated, but he will reappear in the main event and his comeuppance on Brock. Cost Brock the match because at the last co-branded pay-per-view, Brock gave him the big F5 after he beat up Orton.
Good.
So I think Shane will cost Brock the match so that Brock gets to look strong in the loss, and Goldberg gets the baby face off to the sunset with his family send off.
That's a very good,
solid pick, solid choice right there. I kind of like that thinking.
Honestly, that's probably what's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
It just like in terms of building a storyline that they've already established, and even if it was something a little small, and a lot of people probably already forgot about it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, unless Goldberg does really good, I don't think you're going to see Goldberg back, especially with Taker on SmackDown. I mean, I heard a rumor that they were going to go for Goldberg versus Taker at Mania. Not to say that couldn't happen, I suppose, but I think if it were to happen, I think a Goldberg win would be a plus in that. And as well,
this just feels like Goldberg gets his match and then gets into the Hall of Fame.
Exactly,
and who's to say that Brock doesn't kill him at the Rumble? Like, you know.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
I think in this scenario, I'm doing it for the family and the kid, and
the dad in you is coming out of
that. I think he'll win. He'll get a win.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. All right. Well, those are our picks, and please, if you're listening to this or watching this, remember I said listening, so stay tuned. Let us know. Tweet at us we'll give you all our information here shortly, but we do like to hear from you, and we love to hear how often we're wrong, which is pretty much me right now. Although last time JJ and I won, and John was the sore loser. So
I was very sore.
Very sorry. Lost that.
I needed some of that medical tape on my brain.
Yeah, there you go. Either way, I had to look for Black Friday. I'll keep an eye out for belts, see if there's anything floating around. Anyways, just please let us know. Please keep watching. Thank you for joining us thus far. We do look forward to chatting with you on Sunday, or chatting with you after the show, after the big event on Sunday. It's in the beginning of next week. And then we're going to take a couple-week break while I'm out in the ocean somewhere paddling. But that's in the future. Please tweet at us. You can find me at Dolly Domovsky. John, where may they find you?
You may find me at John Kehoe on Twitter.
And JJ?
At the double J, the _double_J.
Yes. And of course, it's all listed in the post that accompanies this podcast. Thank you again so much for watching us, for listening. We look forward to hearing just how close we were, how far off we were. Either way, it does look like it's going to be a pretty fantastic show this weekend. It's a classic Survivor Series, and they've been kind of here or there over the last few years, but I'm looking forward to it this year.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it's been a good build. I have to admit it, and bring Survivor Series back to some form.
Even Monday had a pretty good sort of build for the Lesnar Brock match, even if the match isn't all that they did a good job.
But seriously, talk about turning it around, eh? Like it was looking a little bit iffy for a while, and it's even
everybody remembers them getting booed.
WrestleMania
was it WrestleMania 20? They got booed, so
it might work out this time.
Yes, exactly. But thank you, everybody. We will see you on the next episode of SQW.